There's going to be a lot of money to be made next week. Well, I strongly believe AMC will not be an exception to this rule because I'm going to share with you in this video two major news related to showing at least that the market is founding the bottom, or the market is founding some sort of footing, and we could be at the very beginning of the reversal, even if that may take a couple of weeks or at least several months to go back to some comforting levels. But what is really interesting is, based on these news, I'm guaranteeing that the big money that was sitting on the sidelines will start to pump at least some of those billions, if not trillions, into the markets, especially when it comes to AMC. So the first news I'm about to share with you guys is around Shanghai to gradually reopen businesses as COVID cases drop. This kind of goes back to a video I posted, I think, on Thursday, where I was kind of explaining to you guys when the stocks will find a bottom or when stocks will stop crashing. And I exposed three reasons when the Federal Reserve is going to be more, less aggressive, on when the market is going to think Federal Reserve is, kind of smoothing a little bit on the aggressiveness and the pace of increasing interest rates. And it started literally Thursday evening, and we saw what happened on Friday during the trading session. All right, but it doesn't mean that we are out of the weed. But I believe, when it comes to COVID, because China is still in the zero COVID policy, meaning they really want to get everybody not getting infected with COVID, which is kind of weird to me. But as now they are easing COVID restrictions, this is a good news for the market, because it means supply chain issues are ultimately not going to be strangled also as they were in 2020, which ultimately leads to inflation again, because supply chain has a big part into inflation. And if inflation is not going to stick more, or at least go higher than what it already is, then the Federal Reserve is not going to do what they expect to do in terms of being aggressive with federal interest rates. So this is a good news. And the other thing is, well, when you look at some of the other data, the beginning of the end of the stock market's correction could be near. So if I kind of get this together, it points me to the fact that also by looking at where we ended on Friday, you can look here at the major indexes and the futures, even though the market has not really opened yet, but in half an hour, by the time I'm recording this video, things are not that bad, but we'll see. But if I go back to these two news, what it means is the trillions of dollars that were sitting on the sideline based on this market pulling back, because when the market pulls back, it means people are selling. And when people are selling, especially the guys with on Wall Street, the big pockets, the money stays on the sidelines because they want to wait for another comfortable time for them to put the money back into stocks and ETFs. So when you look at the Russell 2000, you look at the IWM, you look at all of the funds that are holding stocks like AMC, well, they were also pulling a lot of money from those funds, all right? But now that we have at least some positive news coming for the market that are going to ease two major risks for the market for this remainder of this year, it means these people are going to feel comfortable again putting that money back into those ETFs. So based on this, I'm expecting the Russell 2000 to bounce. I'm expecting some other pension funds or other institutional money that pulled out of these funds that are hold AMC heavily to actually put the money back in. And the very interesting thing about this is, as of last Thursday or as of last week, the market was really in a downtrend. So if this uptrend that started last Friday is maintained by the money flowing back into the stock market and into those ETFs and funds holding AMC, then the short sellers are going to be squeezed out. Some of those short sellers that came in very, very lately, those are going to be the one really crushed, because the buying pressure is going to be to a certain level that they will have to start covering. So the 10% days, 12% days, 20% days, or even 30% day, I think are not over, at least until we get back to maybe the 20s or the 30s. I may be wrong, but tomorrow we'll see. But that is kind of the news I wanted to share with you because it's exciting.